Chapter 2, na?
Yes, Mataji. Second chapter.
Second chapter, 36 words.
Yes, Mataji.
Mataji, it is third chapter, 9th text, 9.
Wait. You can read me correctly.
Third chapter, text 9.
Huh?
Chapter 3, text 9.
Chapter 3, text 9. Yeah, pure devotion service, the change of the heart. You have done this all. How come you're so behind? The Priya Mataji. Rajyakamo manundevan nidrittim व्यभिचरन् यजेत कामकामो यजेत समं कामः पुरुषं परम्. Little recap of what we have done in this third chapter. Little recap will do from the first verse. Pure devotional service now. Was Brahman, Paramatma, those aspects has been spoken. So what is the duty of the intelligent person? There is a question asked. He said, oh, Maharaj Parikshit, you have inquired. A person inquired, what should be the duty of an intelligent person who is in the threshold of the death? So here he said, one who wants to be absorbed in the impersonal Brahma Jyoti, he worships the Vedas. And in this way, one who wants good fortune worships Durgaji. Going on like that. But one who desires tangible fame should worship personality of God. One who wants a good bank balance worships Varuna, like that, all one worships. Then the 8th verse, one should worship Vishnu or his devotee for spiritual advancement. For any other thing, Lord has given varieties. But if a person wants to advance in spiritual life, he should worship Vishnu. For the protection of his heredity, advancement of dynasty, then various demigods are being given. In this way, akama sarva kama moksha kama dharati. A person can come to Krishna with all desires or with no desires or with just desiring liberation. That's what it is. We have done now this 10th verse. We are in which verse it told? 14th verse. Kusum, which verse?
9th, you have to start with 9th, Mataji.
Let us see. Rajakamo manundeva nivrittim prabhicharan yajet kamakamo yajet somam kamha purusham param. So Rajakama, that means if he wants a kingdom, he should worship Manu. They are the semi-incarnation of Lord. If he wants to be victorious over the enemy, he should worship demons. Demons are also worshipped. Yakshas are also worshipped. Rakshasas are also worshipped. If he wants instant gratification, then he should worship Soma, that is Chandra. But if he desires nothing of material enjoyment, Akama, then he should worship Purusha. So it depends. There, everyone's Aradhya Devata depends on his desires. If he has no desire, then he will worship Krishna. If he has various desires, he will worship various demigods. Okay. So Kusum, you read.
Hare Krishna, Mataji, Tanda Pranam. Rajyakamo manun devan nrittim tva abhicharan yajet kamakamo yajet somam akama purusham param. Translation and purport by Srila Prabhupada. Srila Prabhupada ki jai. One who desires domination over a kingdom or an empire should worship the Manus. One who desires victory over an enemy should worship the demons. And one who desires sense gratification should worship the moon. But one who desires nothing of material enjoyment should worship the Supreme Personality of Godhead. Purport. For a liberated person, all the enjoyments listed above are considered to be absolutely useless. Only those who are conditioned by the material modes of external energy are captivated by different types of material enjoyment. In other words, the transcendentalist has no material desires to be fulfilled, whereas the materialist has all types of desires to be fulfilled. The Lord has proclaimed that the materialists who desire material enjoyment and thus seek the favor of different demigods, as above mentioned, are not in control of their senses and so give themselves to nonsense. One should therefore not desire any sort of material enjoyment, being sensible enough to worship the Supreme Personality of Godhead. The leaders of nonsensical persons are still more nonsensical because they preach openly and foolishly that one can worship any form of demigod and get the same result. This sort of preaching is not only against the teachings of the Bhagavad Gita or those of Srimad Bhagavatam, but is also foolish, just as it is foolish to claim that with the purchase of any travel ticket, one may reach the same destination. No one can reach Bombay from Delhi by purchasing a ticket for Baroda. It is clearly defined herein that persons impregnated with different desires have different modes of worship, but one who has no desire for material enjoyment should worship the Supreme Lord Sri Krishna, the personality of Godhead. And this worshipping process is called devotional service. Pure devotional service means service to the Lord without any tinge of material desires, including desire for furtive activity and empiric speculation. For fulfillment of material desires, one may worship the Supreme Lord, but the result of worship is different, as will be explained in the next verse. Generally, the Lord does not fulfill anyone's material desires for sense enjoyment, but he awards such benedictions to the worshippers of the Lord, for they ultimately come to the point of not desiring material enjoyment. The conclusion is that one must minimize the desires for material enjoyment, and for this one should worship the Supreme Personality of Godhead, who is described here as Param or beyond anything material. Sripad Sankaracharya has also stated, Narayana Paro Vyaktat, the Supreme Lord is beyond the material encirclement. Hare Krishna, thank you, Mataji.
Next verse, try to memorize. Very important verse. Akama sarvakamo vam mokshagam udhargiri tivrena bhakti yogena yajeta purusha param. So one who has broader intelligence. Broader intelligence has been spoken even udaradihi. You see, in Bhagavad Gita you have, there are 4 types of people who come to Krishna. Among that, the Jnanis are more intelligent. They are udara. In the same way, those who are udara, what they do, if they have all the material desires also, they come to Krishna. No desire also, they'll come to Krishna. If they want liberation, they'll come to Krishna. By all the means, udardihi, that means a person who has greater intelligence, he will only worship the Supreme Personality of God. He doesn't have to go here and there. He just have to worship the Param Purusha, Purushottama, Purusham, Param Purusham. That means who is the topmost in everyone. So naturally, he is the one who is giving everything. Now only in the 3rd canto we were studying that even Brahmaji wants to show to the whole world during the devastation. He is completely confused. At the time, this confusion is nothing but to show to the whole world that whatever creation I am doing is only because of Krishna. He gives intelligence. The same way, whatever desires a person has, even though he may ask to any demigod, it is fulfilled only by the potency which is given by Krishna. If Krishna is not empowering the demigod has no power to give anything to the dependents. So only because of Krishna's mercy. So Udara Dihi means intelligence. Udara means one who is broader. He is not having narrow look. He has a broader look. And what is a broader look? He knows that everybody gets the power only because of Krishna. So why don't I approach to Krishna himself? So here, Srila Vishwanath Thakur's commentary has been given Not only those persons who have a desire to destroy all material desires should worship Krishna, even though if a person has full desires, still should go. Akama means pure devotee. Akama sarva kamova. So akama means his happiness lies only in the happiness of Krishna. That is akama. He has no other desire. His only desire is to serve Krishna. Sarva kama. All desires in general. Moksha kama. That means he just wants liberation. So in this way, the person desiring liberation is even more filled with desire than the person filled with material comforts. You see, one by one, the gradation is going on. Akama, sarvakama, moksha. That means what? It is the gradation is increasing actually. You have no desire. You had all the material desire. You have desire for liberation. Somebody will say, oh, it's very good. No, it is more worse than having material desires. Liberation speaks about just impersonal Brahman. You are not interested in service Krishna, in serving Krishna. So that is more worst than the material desire. It is better sarvakama, at least in this material world. So that is how the desires are shown to be stronger in the jnanis because they don't want to suffer in the samsara. That is that they don't want material comforts. So these jnanis, they just want what? They just want the happiness of impersonal Brahman, no service, nothing. So the jnanis have been spoken. First is what? Karmis. First is what? Bhaktas, akama. Bhaktaha, karmihi, jnani. Like the three gradation has been given. So devotees are, what is it? Akamaha. Devotees are only engaged in worshipping Krishna and they just want happiness in Krishna. Then come karmis. Karmis are interested in their own happiness. And jnanis, again, they are also interested in their own, but not in this material world because they know material comforts are only going to give miseries. So gradation has been spoken. Udarabihi, a person who has higher intelligence, they can know the difference between karmi, jnani, and bhakta. Okay. First is bhakta, second is karmi, and then is jnani. Adi Sattvic की मदद से
Hare Krishna Mataji Danvat Text 10. Akamaha sarvakama va mokshakama udaradhihi tibreno bhakti yogena jajeta purusang param. Translation and purport by Srila Prabhupada. Srila Prabhupada ki jai. A person who has broader intelligence, whether he be full of all material desire, without any material desire, or desiring liberation, must by all means worship the Supreme Whole, the Personality of Godhead. Purport. The Supreme Personality of Godhead, Lord Sri Krishna, is described in the Bhagavad Gita as Purushottama, or the Supreme Personality. It is He only who can award liberation to the impersonalists by absorbing such aspirants in the Brahmajyoti, the bodily rays of the Lord. The Brahmajyoti is not separate from the Lord, as the glowing sun ray is not independent of the sun disk. Therefore, one who desires to merge into the Supreme Personal Brahmajyoti must also worship the Lord by Bhakti Yoga, as recommended here in the Srimad Bhagavatam. Bhakti Yoga is especially stressed here as the means of all perfection. In the previous chapters, it has been stated that Bhakti Yoga is the ultimate goal of both Karma Yoga and Jnana Yoga. And in the same way, in this chapter, it is emphatically declared that Bhakti Yoga is the ultimate goal of the different varieties of worship of the different demigods. Bhakti Yoga, thus being the supreme means of self-realization, is recommended here. Everyone must therefore seriously take up the methods of Bhakti Yoga, even though one aspires for material enjoyment or liberation from material bondage. Akamaha is one who has no material desire. A living being, naturally being the part and parcel of the supreme whole Purusham Param, has as his natural function to serve the supreme being. Just as the parts and parcels of the body or the limbs of the body are naturally meant to serve the complete body. Desireless means therefore not to be inert like the stone, but to be conscious of one's actual position and thus desire satisfaction only from the Supreme Lord. Srila Jiva Goswami has explained this desirelessness as bhajana parama purusha sukha matra swa sukhatvam in his Sandarbha. This means that one should feel happy only by experiencing the happiness of the Supreme Lord. This intuition of the living being is sometimes manifested even during the conditioned stage of living being in the material world. And such intuition is expressed in the manner of altruism, philanthropy, socialism, communism, etc., by the undeveloped minds of less intelligent persons. In the mundane field, such an outlook of doing good to others in the form of society, community, family, country, or humanity is a partial manifestation of the same original feeling in which a pure living entity feels happiness by the happiness of the Supreme Lord. Such superb feelings were exhibited by the damsels of of the Lord. The gopis loved the Lord without any return, and this is the perfect exhibition of the Akama spirit. Kama spirit, or the desire for one's own satisfaction, is fully exhibited in the material world, whereas the spirit of Akama is fully exhibited in the spiritual world. Thoughts of becoming one with the Lord or being merged in the Brahmajyoti can also be exhibitions of karma spirit if they are desires for one's own satisfaction to be free from the material miseries. A pure devotee does not want liberation so that he may be relieved from the miseries of life. Even without so-called liberation, a pure devotee is aspirant for the satisfaction of the Lord, influenced by the Kama spirit. Arjuna declined to fight in the Kurukshetra battlefield because he wanted to save his relatives for his own satisfaction. But being a pure devotee, he agreed to fight on the instruction of the Lord because he came to his senses and realized that satisfaction of the Lord at the cost of his own satisfaction was his prime duty. Thus, he became Akama. That is the perfect stage of a perfect living being. Udaradhihi means one who has a broader outlook. People with desires for material enjoyment worship small demigods, and such intelligence is condemned in the Bhagavad Gita 7:20 as Ritogyana, the intelligence of one who has lost his senses. One cannot obtain any result from demigods without getting sanctions from the Supreme Lord. Therefore, a person with a broader outlook can see that the ultimate authority is the Lord, even for material benefits. Under the circumstances, one with a broader outlook, even with the desire for material enjoyment or for liberation, should take to the worship of Lord directly. And everyone whether an akama or sakama or mokshakama, should worship the Lord with great expedience. This implies that bhakti yoga may be perfectly administered without any mixture of karma or jnana, as the unmixed sun ray is very forceful and is therefore called tibra. Similarly, unmixed bhakti yoga of hearing, chanting, etc., may be performed by one and all, regardless of inner motive. Thank you very much, Mataji.
So here, Bhakti Yoga, again, Bhakti Yoga is also mixed. Sometimes there's a mixture is there with karma and jnana. What is preferred more? Sometimes Bhakti is taken to perfect the karma. Understand? So what is the priority? Priority is at time the karma. While doing karma, for him the priority is bhakti. Then slowly, he is inclined to do bhakti more. Like sometimes a person does bhakti to get jnana. And then while doing the jnana, that time it is which type of bhakti it is? It is mishrit. Bhakti is not important for him. For him, jnana is important. Jnana mishrit bhakta, bhakti mishrit jnana. You should understand nicely. Bhakti mishrit jnana and jnana mishrit bhakta. Confusing, isn't it? What is a priority that is more important? Bhakti is priority or jnana is priority? He is a jnani. He is adding bhakti. Now his priority is jnana. And suppose he is a devotee and he is not interested in jnana. He wants bhakti more. Though he has jnana, he has infused bhakti to become more advanced in devotion. Simple. What is a priority that is more important? Whether bhakti is priority or jnana is priority? Bhakti mishrit jnana. Jnana mishrit bhakta. Jnana mishrit bhakta. So jnana is added, but his priority is bhakti. Bhakti mishrit jnana. He has added bhakti so that he can advance in jnana. So for him, jnana is priority. Simple. Easy to understand. Karma mishrit bhakta. Bhakti mishrit karma. Bhakti is added to have perfection in karma. While performing karma, bhakti is infused so that he can grow in devotion. Everybody is doing karma. So in that, bhakti has been given more priority. Okay. Any doubts in that? If you have any doubt, again you can ask. If you have not understood this term. So these terms are very important. When you say bhakti yoga, it should be perfect, without any mixture of jnana and karma and jnana. Anyabhilashita shunyam jnana karma dhyavrutam anukulyena krishna anushilam bhakti uttama. What is that uttama bhakti? Anyabhilashita shunyam. There is no other desire except to serve Krishna. Jnana karma dhyavrutam. There is no desire for jnana, karma, nothing. Impersonal jnana is not having any desire. Karma, fruitive activities, is not interested in that. Jnana karma dhyavrutam anukulyena krishna. Anukula bhava, not pratikula bhava. Anukulyena krishna anushilanam. Following the footprints of the acharyas. Bhakti uttama. This is uttama bhakti. Etavanena yajataamiha nishreyasodayaha. Etavaneva yajataham iha nishreyasodayaha. Bhagavati yachalo bhavo yadbhavatah yadbhagavataha sangatah. Etavan, all these different kinds of worshippers, eva certainly, yajata, by worshipping. Iha in this life, nishreyasaha. The highest benediction, Udaya, development, Bhagavati, into the Supreme Person. personality of God, Achalaha, unflinching. However, spontaneous attraction yet which Bhagavata, your devotee of the Lord, Sangata association. All different kinds of worshippers of multi-demigods can attain the highest perfectional benediction, which is spontaneous attraction, unflinchingly fixed upon the Supreme Lord, only by the association of the pure devotee of the Lord. So the highest perfectional benediction, everybody is going for asking something, but that highest benediction can be attained only by worshipping Krishna. And worship to Krishna can be had only by association of devotees. Without the devotees, bhakti is impossible. Bhakti cannot be done alone. It has to be done along with the devotees. It has to be under the guidance of the devotees. That's why Anushilanam has been given. Anushilanam Bhakti Uttama. Uttama Bhakti means where there is no desire for anything. That can only happen by Anushilanam, following the footprints of the Acharyas, inquiring, having the taste for hearing more, having the desire for inquiring and scrutinizingly studying. All these things come only by the association of devotees. Even the interest to study also comes by the association of devotees. Or you see, you remove a Bhagavatam book and sit on your own, you will not feel right to study. When we sit together, yes, the desire is there to hear more, to read more. So in this way, bhakti can be attained only by association. Vimla, read.
Hare Krishna Mataji. एतावानेव यजतामिह मे श्रेयसोदयः भगवच्चलो भावो यत् भागवत संगत. Purport, translation. All the different kinds of worshippers of multi demigods can attain the highest perfectional benedictions, which is spontaneous attraction unflinchingly fixed upon the Supreme Personality of Godhead only by the association of the pure devotee of the Lord. Purport, all living entities in different statuses of life within the material creation, beginning from the first demigod, Brahma, down to the small ant, are conditioned under the law of material nature or the external energy of the Supreme Lord. The living entity in his pure state is conscious of the fact that he is a part and parcel of the Lord. But when he is thrown into the material world on account of his desire to lord it over material energy, he becomes conditioned by the three modes of material nature and thus struggles for existence for the highest benefit. This struggle for existence is something like following the will or the wisp under the spell of material enjoyment. All plans for material enjoyment, either by worship of different demigods as described in the previous verses of this chapter, or by modernized advancement of scientific knowledge without the help of God or demigod, are illusory only, for despite all such plans for happiness, the conditioned living being within the compass of material creation can never solve the problem of life, namely birth, death, old age, and disease. The history of the universe is full of such plan makers, and many kings and emperors come and go, living a plan making story only. But the prime problems of life remain unsolved despite all endeavors by such plan makers. Actually, human life is meant for making a solution to the problem of life. One can never solve such problems by satisfying the different demigods by different modes of worship or by so-called scientific advancement in knowledge without the help of God or the demigods. Apart from the gross materialist, who care very little either for God or for the demigods, the Vedas recommend worship of different demigods for different benefits, and so the demigods are neither false nor imaginary. The demigods are as factual as we are, but they are much more powerful due to their being engaged in the direct service of the Lord in managing different departments in the universal government. The Bhagavad Gita affirms this, and the different planets of the demigods are mentioned there, including the one of the supreme demigod, Lord Brahma. The gross materialists do not believe in the existence of God or the demigods, nor do they believe that different planets are dominated by different demigods. They are creating a great commotion about reaching the closest celestial body, Chandraloka or the moon, but even after much mechanical research, they have only very scanty information of this moon, and in spite of such false advertisement for selling land on the moon, the puffed up scientists or gross materialists cannot live there, and what to speak of reaching the other planets which they are unable even to count. However, the followers of the Vedas have a different methods of acquiring knowledge. They accept the statements of the Vedic literatures as authority in toto, as we have already discussed in Canto 1, and therefore they have full and reasonable knowledge of God and demigods and of their different residential planets situated within the compass of the material world and beyond the limit of the material sky. The most authentic Vedic literature accepted by the great Indian acharyas like Shankara, Ramanuja, Madhva, Vishnu Swami, Nimbarka, and Chaitanya, and studied by all important personalities of the world is the Bhagavad Gita, in which the worship of the demigods and their respective residential planets are mentioned. The Bhagavad Gita 9.25 affirms Yanti Devavrata Devan Pitra Yanti Pitravratah Bhutani Yanti Bhuteja Yanti Mad Yagnopi Mam. The worshippers of demigods reach the respective planets of the demigods, and the worshipper of forefathers reach the planets of the forefathers. The gross materialist remains in the different material planets, but the devotees of the Lord reach the kingdom of God. We also have information from the Bhagavad Gita that all the planets within the material world, including Brahmaloka, are but temporarily situated, and after a fixed period, they are all annihilated. Therefore, the demigods and their followers are all annihilated at the period of devastation, but one who reaches the kingdom of God gets a permanent share in eternal life. That is the verdict of the Vedic literature. The worshippers of the demigods have one facility more than the unbelievers due to their being convinced of the Vedic version, by which they can get information of the benefit of worshipping the Supreme Lord in the association of the devotees of the Lord. The gross materialists, however, without any faith in the Vedic version, remains eternally in darkness, driven by a false conviction on the basis of imperfect experimental knowledge or so called material science, which can never reach into the realm of transcendental knowledge. Therefore, unless the gross materialists or the worshippers of the temporary demigods come in contact with the transcendentalists like the pure devotee of the Lord, their attempts are simply a waste of energy. Only by the grace of the divine personalities, the pure devotee of the Lord, the pure devotees of the Lord, can one achieve pure devotion, which is the highest perfection of human life. Only a pure devotee of the Lord can show one the right way of progressive life. Otherwise, both the materialistic way of life, without any information of God or the demigods, and the life engaged in the worship of demigods in pursuit of temporary material enjoyments, are different phases of phantasmagoria. They are nicely explained in the Bhagavad Gita also, but the Bhagavad Gita can be understood in the association of pure devotees only, and not by the interpretation of politicians or dry philosophical speculators. Hare Krishna.
In Bhagavad Gita, also 9th chapter, 23rd and 24th verse, Krishna says, Epi yanti param, epi anya devata bhaktaha yajante shraddhaya vitaha. Tepi mamiva konte janti avidhipurvakam. Whatever benedictions they are getting because of worshipping the demigods is actually given by me only. Krishna says, Hami sarva ityala, bhokta cha prabhudeva cha, tatu mam abhijanati tatvenatas chevantiti. So I am the enjoyer, I am the master of all the sacrifices. Those who do not do this, they fall down. Not real things. ज्ञानं यदा प्रतिनिवृत्तं नोर्चक्रम् आत्मप्रसाद उत यत्र भवेश सङ्गः कैवल्यसम्मत पथस्त्वथ भक्तियोगः को विमुक्तो हरिकथासु प्रतेन कुर्यात्. So what is transcendental knowledge in relation with the Supreme Lord is knowledge resulting in the complete suspension of the waves and whirlpools of the material modes. Such knowledge is self-satisfying due to its being free from material attachment. And being transcendental, it is approved by authorities who could fail to be attracted. So jnanam pratinivrittaha, it is completely withdrawn. All these material things are withdrawn. Atma prasada is completely satisfied. Then there is transcendental knowledge. Is kaivalya, it's transcendental, is approved also by the authorities. Bhakti yoga, nivrittaha harikathasu ratim. He is completely absorbed, nivrittaha harikatha. So who would not like to do this? Is completely suspending himself from all the material modes. Okay. So if jnana, the path approving for attaining the Lord, is jnanam started now, which creates indifference to the multitude of material gunas, arises and is followed by satisfaction of the self, then automatically bhakti yoga arises. So how a jnani can become a bhakta? Only when that path is approved by the Lord first. And in that path, there is satisfaction. Satisfaction of the self-serving Krishna. And also is indifferent to the material gunas. That is why he is attracted only to the topics of Krishna. So it is now Jnana Mishrit Bhakta. Jnana is there, but Bhakti is the priority. Now he knows that Jnana should be used only for the satisfying Krishna. The Jnana is used so hearing Krishna Katha, the Rati. Jnana means knowledge. Yes, knowledge of Krishna is more important, not of this material world. Okay. Jagat and Vaya read if you are making Narayan usually then you read.
Mataji, I'll read, Mataji. Mataji, I'll read.
Yeah, read.
ज्ञानं यदा प्रतिनिवृत्तगुणोर्मिचक्रम् आत्मप्रसाद उत यत्र गुणेष्वसङ्गः कैवल्यसम्मतपथ भक्तियोगः को निवृत्तो
भक्ति योगः
कैवल्यसम्मतपथस्त्वत्पथ भक्तियोगः को निवृत्तो हरिकथासु रतिं न कुर्यात्. Translation and purport by Srila Prabhupada. Translation. Transcendental knowledge in relation with the Supreme Lord Hari is knowledge resulting in complete suspension of the waves and whirlpools of material modes. Such knowledge is self-satisfying due to its being free from material attachment, and being transcendental, it is approved by authorities who could fail to be attracted. Purport. According to Bhagavad Gita 10.9, the characteristics of pure devotees are wonderful. The complete functional activities of a pure devotee are always engaged in the service of Lord, and thus the pure devotees exchange feelings of ecstasy between themselves and relish transcendental bliss. This transcendental bliss is experienced even in the stage of devotional practice, sadhana avastha, if properly undertaken under the guidance of a bona fide spiritual master. And in the mature stage, the developed transcendental feeling culminates in the realization of the particular relationship with the Lord by which a living entity is originally constituted, up to the relationship of conjugal love with the Lord, which is estimated to be the highest transcendental bliss. Thus, Bhakti Yoga, being the only means of God realization, is called Kaivalya. Srila Jiva Goswami quotes the Vedic version Eko Narayano Deva Paravaranam Parama Aste Kaivalya Samyita in this connection and establishes that Narayana, the personality of Godhead, is known as Kaivalya. The means which enables one to approach the Lord is called Kaivalya Pantha, or the only means of attaining Godhead. This Kaivalya Pantha begins from Shravana, or hearing those topics that relate to the personality of Godhead, and the natural consequences of hearing the natural consequence of hearing such Harikatha is attainment of transcendental knowledge, which causes detachment from mundane topics for which a devotee has no taste at all. For a devotee, all mundane activities, social and political, become unattractive, and in the mature state, such a devotee becomes uninterested even in his own body, and what to speak of bodily relatives. In such a state of affairs, one is not agitated by the waves of material modes. There are different modes of material nature, and all mundane functions in which a common man is very much interested or in which he takes part becomes unattractive for the devotee. This state of affair is prescribed herein as Pratinivrtta Gunormi, and it is impossible by and it is possible by Atma Prasada or complete satisfaction without any material connection. The first class devotee of the Lord attains this stage by devotional service. But despite his loftiness, for the Lord's satisfaction, he may play the voluntary part of a preacher of the Lord's glory and dovetail all into devotional service, even mundane interests, just to give the neophytes a chance to transform mundane activities into transcendental bliss. Srila Rupa Goswami has described this action of a pure devotee as Nirbandha Prishta Sambandhe Yuktam Vairagyam Uchyate. Even mundane activities dovetailed with the service to the Lord are also calculated to be transcendental or approved Kaivalya affairs. Hare Krishna.
So jnana, the path approved by the for attaining the Lord, which creates indifference to the multitude of material gunas, arises and is followed by satisfaction of the self. So how the Bhakti Yoga can come? Bhakti Yoga can come only when a person is interested in the topics of Krishna. That is the sum and bonum of this verse. Detachment from the gunas, yes, that is there. Bhakti Yoga comes. But again, detachment of the gunas can come only when there is attraction to the topics of Krishna. Then a person can understand Lord is a person first. Lord, we have personal relationship with Lord. Every jiva has a personal connection with Lord. So pure bhakti disregards karma and jnana. And what is the principal activity of a pure devotee? Hearing, glorifying, remembering Krishna. That's more important. Sukadeva Goswami is speaking all this. What is most important is chanting of the holy name. Prema is more important. Starts with karma, jnana, yoga, bhakti, prema. But prema is more important to Krishna. Okay. So stop here. Any questions we have? Because now Shaunakadi Rishi, they are asking to Sutta Goswami. The question is going to come. So still now what is going on? Which conversation? Sukadeva Goswami and Parishit Maharaj conversation is going on. And now Saunakadi Rishi, they are asking question to Suta Goswami. That will do on Thursday. Okay. So any doubts regarding this?
Mataji, then what is liberation? Liberation means merging in the effulgence of Brahman,
Ah.
God, right?
Liberation, liberated person always thinks about himself. Merging in the Brahman effulgence. He is not experiencing Ananda. Satanchit he can experience, not Ananda. Merging in the impersonal. He is not interested in worshipping Lord. Brahman.
Ah,
He is only interested in the impersonal aspect of Brahman.
okay. So
How to
liberation also
understand this in
means
a very simple way? I'll tell you how to understand in the simple way.
ah,
Before understanding Krishna, can also eat. Only when Acharya say, then only we understood. Before that also, Big Long Bell was going on in the house. Every one of us were doing some worship.
ah,
But no, none of us were offering anything to Krishna, whatever we were eating.
mhm,
So this is known as Brahman. It's not worship to Krishna. We don't know Krishna as a person. Though in the house, the deities will be there, everything will be there. But still, that love for Krishna can be given only by acharyas. Only by the devotee.
mhm. So liberation also means freedom from the cycle of birth and death.
I think this is cut. Yeah, bhakti means only service. Without service, how bhakti? So bhakti, understanding Krishna as a person. Till that time, even we were also doing something or the other. Every one of us have been doing.
Mhm,
Having the respect for Lord. But Lord is a person that everybody is same. चाहे बाबा कहो, चाहे अम्मा कहो, चाहे राम कहो, चाहे कृष्ण कहो. Soft there.
mhm. And liberation is also a state of bliss?
No,
No.
this cannot be attained without service.
Okay. Okay. And Kaivalya means?
Again, liberation.
Kaivalya is liberation.
No
But in
impersonal, no
you,
personal aspect.
no personal aspect. Okay. Mhm. And Kaivalya Pantha means? Kaivalya Pantha?
Again, no personal aspect.
Mhm. But Pantha means Marg, right? Or,
There are many margas. Jnana is also a marg only.
hmm.
Jnana yoga marga. So saying Jnana marga, Kaivalya marga.
So here the aim is only to attain the love of God. That's all.
No, no, there is no
Then
aim. The aim is
the
only I should be happy. I should be liberated. Simple. Not even a happy. What is happiness also doesn't know. It's only flickering happiness. It's not bliss. There is no service. Na? Where is love of God? Love of God is only for the devotees who only work for Krishna.
yes, for
Understanding Krishna as a
devotees,
person.
yes.
Liberation. What is
Mhm.
liberation? Real meaning of what is liberation? Mukti. Like you run
Mukti.
out of the house. You just
Yes.
don't want to work in the house. Somebody told. Actually, housewives are more occupied than those people who go to work. They just want to
Huh.
get from children. They put the children somewhere and they go and they enjoy. So
Mhm.
enjoyment is the real goal. So karmis enjoy at one level, jnanis enjoy at another level.
Huh.
That level of enjoyment is more than the level of enjoyment of a karmi. Karmi takes responsibilities. At least is working hard to have sense enjoyment. But this sense enjoyment is more than even the karmi's enjoyment. ऐसा काम सर्व कामवा मोक्ष काम उदारदी. The three levels have been spoken. The highest level is only bhaktas who work for the pleasure of Krishna.
And pleasure of Krishna consists in chanting.
Pleasure of Krishna.
Hari Katha, chanting.
Chanting.
Acha.
Okay.
Okay, thank you, Mataji. Hare Krishna.
Sambhagavacha. Bhavani Vishnu.